This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this will be like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, leave a rating and a brief written review. It will enable others to be able to locate this podcast. Thanks for tuning in today. I want to talk about our relationships, and especially the leader and relationships. One of my favorite leadership authors is Max Dupree, and one that I quote often when I'm in meetings is Max's understanding of the first responsibility for a leader or of a leader is to define reality. That is such a neat definition of leadership. And believe it or not, your organization, your family, your friends need you periodically to not redefine, but to bring them back to what the definition of reality is. And today, reality isn't what it was a few weeks ago. The last thing that a leader does is to say thank you. So you start with defining reality and then you say thank you. And in between those two of defining reality and saying thank you, the leader must become a servant and a debtor. You and I are called to serve. We are also greatly indebted. A lot of people ahead of us made a difference for us to be able to enjoy what we enjoy today. And this will keep you oriented to reality and keep you humble by remembering that I'm here to serve and I'm not the Lord of this situation. I am deeply in debt. Someone said it like this: leaders don't inflict pain, they bear pain. And especially you will see that in your relationships. One of the things as we're talking about relationships, because all of these, when I focus in on an aspect of leadership, I'm wondering if I hear some of you saying, well, how about living a balanced life? And author James Patterson from Suzanne's Diary for Nicholas had, I thought, one of the best explanations of work-life balance that I've ever heard. And I'm certain he didn't intend this to be a leadership quote, but he says this in that book: imagine life is a game in which you are juggling 5 balls. The balls are called work, family, health, friends, and integrity. I would add faith in there as well. And you're keeping all of them in the air. But one day, you finally come to understand that work is a rubber ball, and if you drop it, it'll bounce back to you. The other 4 balls, family, health, friends, integrity, are made of glass. If you drop one of these, it will be irrevocably scuffed, nicked, perhaps even shattered. And once you truly understand the lesson of the 5 balls, you will have the beginnings of balance in your life. There are people who've gotten their lives out of balance, and if you shatter your integrity, you're done. And if you shatter your health or your family, it's very difficult to recover from it. So I'm wanting to talk about some important relationships to cultivate and to be a part of our lives. President Theodore Roosevelt said the most important single ingredient in the formula of success is knowing how to get along with people. As a young child, I think I was 10 to 12 years old. I'd learned to read at an early age. And my grandmother recommended, which was for me the first, and hopefully you'll understand this, first secular book that I ever read. And I have read it 5 to 10 times since. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, which basically is nothing more than what I've just stated: the art of how to get along with people. It was President Eisenhower who said, you don't lead by hitting people over the head. That's called assault, not leadership. And yet, if you listen to the voices of some leadership gurus, they sound angry, mad, pushy, and they do sound more like they're leading an assault squad than they are a leadership team. Um, in real life, in our relationships with people, I think the most practical advice for leaders is not to treat pawns like pawns or princes like princes, but to treat everyone like people. That was James McGregor Burns who said that. How do you treat people? It's very obvious at times that if someone's influential or has wealth or power or position, oftentimes they get better treatment than the people who work in our offices, helping keep the spaces tidy and clean, or helping us keep on task. Everyone you meet has been created in the image of Almighty God, and everyone needs to be treated with value. That's one of the first things you need to learn about relationships. Relationships are the gold of life. And because I've worked in the not-for-profit sector the vast majority of my adult life, I often felt like much leadership material was written to employees, and I worked under this false idea for years that, well, yeah, that's great that you can fire them or give them a bonus, but 99% of the people that I work with are volunteers, and you have to treat and interact with volunteers differently than you do paid employees. But it was Peter Drucker who said that we really just need to accept the fact we have to treat almost anyone as a volunteer, even those who are gainfully employed through your organization. It'll change the way you look at it if you began to see them as a volunteer. Because the simple fact of the matter is, no one, unless they truly are working for us and are married to us or with us, working with us, everyone could walk away. And so we need to begin to say, how do I treat the people in my organization? How do I get them to be effective? How do I pour my life into them? The first thing I want to say about a relational leader and leader in relationship is, are your relationships growing? Are they deepening? At times, many of us in leadership call people friends who are not much more than merely acquaintances. And then we wonder why we are stuck. We need to allow not only room for ourselves to grow, but we need to allow room for our significant family members in our lives, our friends, our employees. We need to help everyone to grow by listening to them, by spending time with them, by really, really listening to them. Nothing grows well without space and air and water. And I'm wondering if we are micromanaging people, we are kind of stifling their growth. We need to give them their space, their air, as it will, and space for them to find their way. And all of us have stumbled and fumbled along and learned and relearned and went on from there. But give people space. Don't smother them and keep them from growing and expanding. Yes, you should always be there to answer questions and to help pour your life into them. But I would just take some stock today and ask yourself, are the relationships in my life, are they growing? Are they waning? Do I need to take a stock in myself? Because first of all, the question needs to be internalized. Are you, in fact, growing? Another kind of relationship that a leader needs is that of a mentor and a coach. Now, mentoring and coaching are two separate parts of that equation. Back when I was coming up, we didn't use mentors and coaches, that kind of language, but there were people who were those mentoring influences, though oftentimes we didn't have a formal agreement and relationship. I was close enough to them that I could observe them, and even over a meal, they would just pour out their wisdom into my life that made such a big difference. When I began going in certain areas, I did engage a coach to help me. A coach helps you with things you don't know. They don't talk you into what to do. They see what your dreams and visions are, where your pain points are, and try to help you get there. But most of all, they are an accountability partner. And I am a great believer in accountability partners. I've had some that were in the same profession I'm in, so we could all use the same insider lingo. But I have to say that some of the more effective groups that I've been with are people who are different ages, different backgrounds, and in whole different fields of endeavor. But those people can still hold you accountable. Here's what you've committed to. Here's the steps you were going to take this week. Did you follow that? Did you do what you said you were going to do? Are you following the values that you claim are important to you? Thomas à Kempis, a spiritual writer, said, "Be not angry that you cannot make others as you wish them to be, since you cannot make yourself as you wish to be." Probably the hardest mentoring and coaching client I've ever had is myself. Even though I know what I should be doing, what I want to do, what I believe I'm supposed to be doing, oftentimes I have a hard time getting myself there. And so that's why it's awesome and wonderful to find mentors and coaches who can kind of hold us accountable, help us along the way, and help us to understand that relationships are the real gold in life. The third thing I want to say to you about a leader and the relationships that we're in is, let's value people. We live in a culture that values the dollar, values things, and we shouldn't use people and grab things. We really should value people. Do you realize, even if you're an entrepreneur, a solopreneur in a one-man or one-woman office, there are so many people involved in our lives who our lives, though they may be tough right now, would be nearly impossible if that person wasn't there. I think of people like the clerks in the grocery store, the mailman who brings my mail, the UPS, FedEx people who bring the packages, the people who help me in ways, the people in my organization. If it weren't for them, there wouldn't be a me. And when we see these people, let's not lord it over them or that we're more important than they are. We should really value people. The fourth thing that I want to say in relationship to relationships, and probably where I will end for today, is, have you given any consideration recently to multiplying your leadership? Have you really, we've talked about mentoring, we've talked about coaching, but have you considered, have you thought about the fact that who could you pour your life into? Now, they may be younger than you, they may even be a contemporary. It really makes no difference. But it would be a terrible thing for you and I to go to our grave with all of this material inside of us, all of the experiences, all of the ups and downs, all of the lessons learned through the school of hard knocks, all the things that have come our way through trial and error. What would happen if we got with a group of people and began to pour our lives into one, two, or three and say, I want to help you because way back there someday, someone helped me. I want to share with you the leadership lessons that I have learned. I want to share with you what I've learned about relationships, what I've learned about faith, what I've learned about health, what I've learned about my industry, frankly, what I've learned about life. And if you look, I understand that the teacher doesn't appear usually until the student is ready. I'm not sure the students appear until the teacher is ready. And it's not necessarily that you are teaching them as if you are someone superior. I'm thinking of these multiplying leadership that we can learn things from the next generations. There are things they have to teach me. to teach all of us. And we can take what we have ascertained over the years and pour into them. Just have your antenna up and be sensitive for the fact that someone is going to cross your path, that you can multiply your influence into their life and share with them the wonderful, valuable lessons that you have learned. Remember, leadership, friends, the real gold is not found in the bank. It's found in the value we place on the people who come across our path of life. And that should be something that all leaders understand and recognize. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today that this has been like a vitamin or supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, leave a rating, and a brief written review. My leadership friend, you are really doing better than you think you are. You really, truly are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.